for the week of Sunday, October 17th, 2021. This is Congress News. We continue tracking global events and the ongoing crisis in the earth. In world news headlines.
As nations continue to struggle to manage the pandemic, many governments across Europe, Asia, North America, Oceania, the Caribbean, and other regions have decided to impose mandatory vaccination policies. The Eastern Caribbean island nation of Antigua and Barbuda announced sweeping mandatory vaccination measures amid widespread resistance to vaccination efforts. Globally, the trend is accentuating the standoff between governments and citizens. The demarcation between the vaccinated and unvaccinated will become increasingly problematic for the equitable access of services. Climate change. The world is now experiencing twice as many days with temperatures over 50 degrees Celsius or 122 degrees Fahrenheit as compared with the 1980s. The total number of days above 50 degrees Celsius has increased from 14 days a year to 26. The increase has been attributed to the burning of fossil fuels, which has contributed to the warming of the planet. In response to the alarming report on climate change published by the United Nations in July, US President Biden announced a global goal of reducing methane emissions by 30% by the end of the decade. The announcement comes ahead of an upcoming UN climate conference in Glasgow, Scotland.
For more reports and updates from the C-WBN Global Intelligence Unit, visit cwbn.news/GIU. Dr. Woodruff continued to release resources to our Congress, extracting powerful principles from the book of Revelation.
God is moving our hearts decisively into a greater perspective of the upper realm, and it is happening to all of us and all at once. In that sense, that knock is already happening.
This series is bringing alignment to our kingdom communities and calibration to our corporate site as we continue to fix our gaze on the Lord in the midst of the crises gripping the earth. Our entire Congress has been engaging with the approaching Revelation download. As we move closer to an inevitable knock number 3, let's listen to the sound of the saints from around the world as they share on the incredible impact of the current revelation flowing from the Lord.
I cannot overstate the gratitude in my heart for the sight and adjustment that has been brought by the recent releases around the accurate approach to the book of Revelation. This whole season of preparation for Knock 3 has been massively calibrating for me, and I really feel like God has come close to empower me to really fix everything in my life. Things that I didn't recognize as significant or see them as issues are now being identified as issues of religiosity, wrong perception, misshaped identity, and personal insecurities.
Regarding the current approach towards the book of Revelation, we received an impactful impartation from the upper realm. The principles of alignment for the churches opened my eyes to a description of Jesus in the end time, Chronos, and although the description sounded physical at first, what it described was labeled as a preferred emphatic Christ nature. This nature will be released now as we, His church, stand in these last days. This is what caught my gaze and shaped my thoughts as I wondered while listening.
as the entire Congress continues to advance aggressively towards the finish, the saints are wholeheartedly committed to ongoing personal transformation and the pursuit of divine will and purpose. The scripture of the week comes from Proverbs chapter 4, verse 3. Watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flows the springs of life. And that is your Congress news for the week of Sunday, October 17th, 2021.